Hi, welcome to Best Pair Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. Right now we're going to take a look at the West Coast Conference in college basketball as of February 16th. The West Coast Conference has been interesting so far this year. A bunch of teams have stark ATS splits favoring the results on the road, notably Portland, Santa Clara, and Loyola Marymount. And even more curious is that one of the top teams in the conference, St. Mary's, has been an awful bet in conference play after starting out the year perfectly against the spread. St. Mary's went 12-0 ATS in their first 12 line games, but they've since lost 8 of 9 against the spread. And that one cover was pretty close, while many of the losses were by bigger margins. And it looks like it's getting worse as the regular season grinds on. Their last 3 ATS losses were all by double digits. So I'm definitely looking at upcoming spots to maybe fade St. Mary's. And the two that I'm looking at right now are on the road at Gonzaga on the 20th and then at home against Santa Clara on the 25th. It hasn't been a good year for Gonzaga overall. They're 9-14-1 ATS overall, but they've been playing close to their spreads recently, and they're still a quality team, so they should be able to take advantage if St. Mary's continues to be overvalued. Then 2 upcoming games in the WCC that I have circled involve San Francisco, who looks like the kind of team that does well and covers against lower tier teams, but tends to be a bad bet against teams from the upper ranks. And I might be looking to fade them on the 18th on the road at Pepperdine, a team that has been playing well and has been an especially good bet in conference play at 7-2 against the spread over their last 9. But then to play on San Francisco on the road at LMU on the 20th. LMU, of course, is a lower tier team in the conference, and they've been particularly overvalued at home this year. They're just 2-8 against the spread at home, and that game seems like the kind of spot where a team like San Francisco could have some line value. And LMU actually only has 3 more regular season games left, and they're all at home, and I do think that they're likely to lose at least 2 of those against the spread. In addition to the San Francisco game, they also have Santa Clara on the 18th and Pepperdine on the 27th. Pepperdine, again, is looking generally undervalued right now, and Santa Clara has gone 6-3 against the spread on the road so far this year, including covering their last 4 games in a row on the road. And as I mentioned, Portland's another team that has been a good bet on the road, but a good fade at home in conference play. And while a lot of that was probably fluky, there are 2 spots coming up for Portland that might be worth taking a look at for those tendencies to continue. On the 20th, they're at home against Pacific, and Pacific's actually 8-2 against the spread over their last 10, and they're looking generally undervalued right now and might be a good bet at Portland in that one. And then on the 27th, Portland's going to be on the road at San Diego, currently, of course, the bottom team in the conference, and Portland's going to be playing that game with revenge from an earlier home loss to San Diego this year, so they might be motivated to bring an especially strong performance and get a cover in that one. And that's a look at the West Coast Conference from an ATS perspective as of February 16th.